All my life, I've struggled with the inability to be present during adverse life experiences. Like, until I'm over whatever internal battle I'm dealing with, I'm just kind of stuck in this state of emotion and unproductivity. That is, until I learned about compartmentalization. Hello, and welcome to the village. My name is Isaiah, but you can call me Villy. I'm here on YouTube documenting my journey of self improvement and personal development and all of its trial and error, 1 week at a time. And this week, I'll be sharing with you my take on compartmentalizing. We'll talk about how I've heard about it, what I've learned it to be, some pros and cons, and of course, my final verdict at the end on if it's actually a worthwhile practice or not. Alright, now, I try to make it as crystal clear as I possibly can that these videos are merely my own personal check marks in my personal development, and that with each weekly topic, I'm in real time working on these things in my actual life, week by week. I'll be experiencing something or just personally want to expound myself on a particular area of knowledge, and I'll set my mind on said topic, and I'll spend that week researching and learning and just educating myself on that particular topic. So that way, come the day that I record, I'm able to just kind of be knowledgeable about what I'm talking about, or I'm able to actually implement some of these practices or try some of these things out and have something to offer and talk about when it's time to record these videos. So that said, I recently got some really bad family news while I was at work. Actually, I had started a new position with a different company and I was going through training, and in the middle of training I got a really upsetting phone call, and I just remember desperately just wanting to overcome these emotions while I was at work. Now that I'm a father and currently depending on my 9 to 5 as my only source of income, I just can't risk missing work or bad work performance. I have to at least be able to perform and get through the day without any emotional barriers, just as my responsibilities as a provider, And I had remember going through something similar in my past because I've always just kind of been a wear my heart on my sleeve kind of guy. And I remember somebody mentioning to me something about compartmentalization and compartmentalizing. They just kind of see me in a bad headspace at work and just kind of mentioned it. Hey, you should really try compartmentalizing so that way you can focus, leave work for work and whatever outside situations for that time, or for outside things, right? Or outside situations. I heard them. I'm like, oh yeah, that sounds like something that might be beneficial, but I didn't really take it as seriously as I probably should have. But now for this time, I remembered that moment. So I went home and did some research, and the research that I found had some mixed reviews. I found that compartmentalization is associated with a lot of negative personality traits, like narcissism or things of that nature. So for anybody that clicked on this video and isn't aware of exactly what compartmentalization is, let me just read you a quick definition. So in psychology, to compartmentalize means to mentally separate conflicting thoughts, emotions, or experiences into distinct compartments to avoid discomfort or anxiety caused by their clash, essentially acting as a defense mechanism to manage contradictory feelings within oneself. It's like creating mental boxes to store different aspects of life separately, allowing one to focus on one area at a time without being overwhelmed by others. But further looking into it, I found that it can actually be a great psychological tool and coping skill. It can be great for managing stress, maintaining focus, self-reflection. It can act as something like a self-homework, right? Something for you to make note of and address at another time and learn even more about yourself, ultimately leading to better decision making. However, there are a couple things that it is important for you to look out for in your efforts or decision to take a negative emotion or just an intense feeling that you're experiencing and putting it to the wayside for a period of time could lead to things like just straight out avoidance or escapism, where you just completely run from the situation altogether. It could create some form of emotional barrier or divide between you and your loved ones. Just the act of being able to move on from certain troubling emotions or feelings can be unsettling to a lot of people that feel like you should really tackle certain things head on in the moment. And I will say I'm still learning and practicing and implementing certain things within myself and exploring this very delicate practice, if you will. But for now, here's my final verdict from what I have done and learned thus far. Compartmentalization can act as a great tool when used correctly. If you're deciding to put an intense emotion or feeling to the side for a block of time, it's just as important for you to decide on a time to come back and kind of open that box back up for yourself. And I highly suggest deciding that time in that moment that you're deciding to not address it as well. So that way you kind of ensure that you definitely will get back to it. Best example I can give is, say I'm on my way to work and I receive a phone call that, I don't know, maybe I lost an old friend or something like that. The old friend had passed away or something like that. I wouldn't necessarily call out of work for that, although yes, I might be emotionally affected. So in that moment, I would realize I have to continue to go to work, and I cannot allow this to affect my work performance throughout this work day. And I also have to go to the grocery store and pick up my daughter or whatever the case may be after work as well. So I know at 7:30, 8, or whatever the case may be p.m., I have open time available in my evening. That's going to be the time I'm going to sit, open back up the message where I found the news out, or call the person that informed me, or whatever it is that I want to do. Think about it, just kind of sit, cry, look at old pictures, whatever I have to do to process, and readjust these emotions. That's the point, right? Readdressing and deciding on a time. Notice how I acknowledged my free time and set that time and made that decision within myself on a very specific time to readdress whatever I decided to compartmentalize. I've realized that it's going to be important that I use this particular skill or practice with caution as well as in moderation. Ideally, I don't think I would want to have to compartmentalize, only if I'm kind of in a bit of a situation to where I absolutely cannot tackle certain feelings or emotions in that moment. I think maybe within time, if I master this particular skill, the best case scenario will be that I am just masterful at being able to have a single track mind on whatever it is that I'm working on, in a sense, and just have the most productivity that I possibly can have with whatever it is that I'm working on, despite whatever I might be battling with emotionally. The key thing that I've taken away from learning about compartmentalization is being sure to readdress, because without readdressing, it just turns into, again, avoidance or escape, and these things just kind of sit within you. And if you let something like those intense emotions fester long enough, they're destined and they're just doomed to lead to a blow up, and it will just come out in a much uglier way, right? So readdressing is going to be key. And with being able to healthily and safely utilize a skill such as compartmentalization, I know that for me, it'll prove to be a pivotal component in my growth. Well, there you have it. That has been my take on compartmentalizing. Be sure to leave a comment down below if you have gotten anything at all from this video, or share with me whatever experience you have with compartmentalization. I'd love to hear from you. And of course, always remember, we are ever learning, growth-oriented, and evolutionary thinkers here in the village. If you enjoyed this video, you'll definitely want to check out last week's video right over here. Don't forget to like and subscribe right over here. And until next time, Vil.